So I'm planting potatoes this morning, and I've made a bit of a mistake. I've already filmed me planting potatoes, but I forgot to put the mic on. So if you excuse me if I won't go through the whole first part of the process that I'm just about to show you. So like I said, I'm planting potatoes, but I'm going to do a bit of an experiment this year. I'm going to do half of my bed in the traditional manner where you dig a trench out, put the potatoes in, and then put the earth them up as the plant grows to keep the light away from the tubers. And I'm going to do another way, which is a traditional Nova Scotia, and I would imagine any sort of seafaring area, any area near the sea. I'm going to plant them in seaweed. So I'm planting Yukon Gold, and what I've done already is I've planted the potatoes just on a bed of seaweed, and then I'm just going to cover them with a nice big covering of seaweed. And as these grow up, as they come through, I'm going to do the same thing, but instead of using earthing them up, I'm going to earth them up with seaweed. So I'm just going to keep covering them with seaweed, keep going. What I'm going to have to do is, I've run out of seaweed at the moment. I'm not sure if you can see actually on the camera, but I'm absolutely covered in a swarm of black fly. So I'll make this quick. Yeah, so I'm basically and cover this all the way up. Now I've planted the potatoes about 12 inches apart, so I've got one, and again in rows sort of 12-16 inches apart. So I've got a row here, then I've got some chives behind me, then I've got another row. When I go and get some more seaweed, I'm going to plant another row. So they're all covered in seaweed, and each one's 12 inches apart, and the rows are about 16 inches apart. So we'll see how we get on. And after I've done that, I'm going to go and do the normal traditional way, and we'll see how the two get on. So for this last set of potatoes in the seaweed, I've got a different type of potato here, Eramosa. I haven't grown it before, but I thought I'd try a different one as well. So I'm just going to plant these in, like I said, putting them down just in the seaweed itself, and I'll plant them all down first, and then I'll cover them with the seaweed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So literally I'm just laying them on top of this seaweed here. One more, I think. And then I'm just going to cover them with the seaweed. There we are. Good thick covering. And I'll come back in a few days and see how the plants are growing through. Nice thick layer. I don't want any light getting through. Right, now on to the more traditional type. Oh, you can't see me down there. So for this second set of potatoes that I'm growing in the more traditional way, you can see I've dug out 2 trenches, about 4 inches, 5 inches deep, and I'm going to set the potatoes in there. So here I'm just going to place the potatoes down, like I said, about 12 inches apart in the trench. So this is my Yukon Gold. Nice and easy. There we go. And here we got the Aeromosa. Obviously, if you've got big enough potatoes, you can cut them in half, as long as you've got a couple of eyes on each one of the bits that you put in. But I've got loads of potatoes here, so I'm just going to put them in whole. Here we are, last one. Right, so got them all in there now. Now I'm just going to scrape a covering of earth all the way over the potatoes, and then as they start to emerge, I will be covering them up until we've got a good mound of earth, so that we're keeping the actual potatoes themselves, the tubers that are growing, keeping them in the dark at all times, so that there's no light getting to them, otherwise they'll turn green and become poisonous. So I'll just cover these potatoes up now. I'm not going to completely fill up the hole, just enough to block out the light. Right, so that's two different ways of growing potatoes. The traditional earthing up way and, well, the traditional seaweed way. Let the competition begin.